Welcome to Legend Makers, the podcast where education's true heroes take center stage. And we are back with another episode of the Legend Makers podcast. Today I have Sadaf Siddiqi. Correct? Did I pronounce your name correct? Excellent. And you are from Kolkata, India. Wow. So we are literally a day apart. It's 8:30 a.m. here and 6:30 p.m. your time, or 6 o'clock your time?
Yes.
Excellent. So we're recording, what's today? Thursday, October 16. I can't believe it's October 16, 2025 already. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background. You love podcasting. Again, you're a biology teacher at Birla High School in Kolkata, India. I'm just reading your bio here, and we'll get into your thing. So you love podcasting. You believe that it enables sharing and learning because one teaches, two learn. I love that. You've been guest on other talk shows and podcasts. The latest one was The Power of Empathy and Leadership on Ignite Your Leadership Prowess podcast. Very good. Well, listen. Thank you for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. It's always nice to get a perspective that's not just local, and I'm always open to having a great conversation with anybody. So welcome.
Thank you so much for introducing me. As very well put, I'm a teacher at India. I teach children, and like we're so very well introduced, when one teaches, two learn. So it's all about a beautiful journey about sharing, caring, and as I always say, it's about the prime thing here is not about being right or being liked. It's about sharing your ideas. As an introvert person, I think it's a very difficult thing to step aside, put aside your introverted personality and come forward and share your ideas, because the most important thing, like I believe, is it's about sharing of ideas, because when you share ideas, that's how you gain perspective. When you're sharing ideas, you're learning. You're not only listening, you're also learning, because as you very well said, or read somewhere, when one knowledge speaks, wisdom listens. So
That's great.
it's just not about gathering knowledge, it's also about listening. I feel I listen more and I gain more by listening. Most of the time, people say you're just listening, you're just not talking. I said, but I'm gaining perspective. So that's also a nice way.
That's
And
great.
teaching has really helped me that way. Because for example, when I first entered, I really had no idea what this is about. It's a mission impossible. It's like every day I'm like Tom Cruise doing jumping off the plane. Because it's like, yeah, I tell myself it's Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, and I love it because every day we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just 1 inch here, a child may fall, or something or the other might happen, some
Yeah.
might triple something. So it's like a very challenging profession, but at the same time, it's unpredictability that makes it exciting, because I don't know, every batch is different, every child is different. You go to section A, you go to section B, you go to section C, same age group, but they are so different. They're not
Yeah.
same, and every child is so special. So it's so special. Like for example, I'll tell you one incident where I had asked the children to get a hibiscus flower. We do dissection. So I had asked them to get hibiscus flower. And I didn't tell them for dissection because they were class six. Like I was supposed to actually demonstrate it. They were not supposed to dissect it. So all of them got a rose flower for me. I said, why did you get a rose flower? They said, ma'am, this is the first time you asked me something to get for you. And there's no better flower than a rose.
Then a
So
rose.
yeah,
Oh, it's
we
so
both used to
nice.
laugh about it. Yeah, because, teaching relationship is something which is very important. Until and
Yeah.
unless they accept you as a teacher, they are never going to learn from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
So
something.
this is great. You've just said a lot. So I want to get back because I want to understand kind of your journey. First off, I love you said something there. There's an old expression: if you want to learn something, teach it. So I think that's you kind of hit on that early, and I do believe in that. It's so funny if I think back on when I was trying to learn, when I was in like uh, early college and struggling with calculus, and I couldn't figure it out until I tried to explain it to somebody else, and then I was like, oh wait, I do understand this. Try to explain it. So there's that. The other thing is I want to understand. So you work with. So what age are the students you're working with?
I'm mainly 10 to 15, 16. 10 to 16
10
is
to
my job.
15, 16. And how long have you been teaching?
This will be my fifth year.
Fifth year. So what prompted you to get into teaching? Why did you enter into this profession? And I'm going to grab some coffee because it's morning
Yeah.
here. So.
Actually, my mother was a teacher. So when you grow up into a family where your mother is a teacher, I used to, we have this in Indian culture, we have this long scarf which we call it dupatta. So I used to drape that like a sari, which is a traditional dress here. So I used to drape like a sari because the teachers wear that Indian attire, that
Hmm.
is sari. And I used to hold that pen, and I used to on the walls and everywhere. I used to write. I used to pretend or mimic like a teacher. So
You're not the
that's
first person I've heard. See, it's so funny having spoken with so many teachers over the last few years. That is a story I hear all the time that they used to play teacher. Yeah,
yeah,
so
because
it's
I
it's
don't know,
it's
and I think
amazing.
that's something which is very close to our hearts, because something we all experience. Like we might not mimic something like a computer software engineer, IT robots, or something like, because we have no clue to that. We have the most accessible thing is the love of a parent and the love of a teacher. So you're
Mm,
more closer to that. So the minute you see that, you want to mimic them, you want to be the best. And I found motherly. I was very lucky. My mother was a teacher, and I was also lucky because some of the teachers who I had experienced, they were very extremely humble, compassionate, loving. So you always have some teacher who will inspire you to become a teacher. It can never happen. Like you always need an inspiration somewhere at the back of your mind. Where
yeah,
whichever profession you want to follow, you always have that inspiration. You will look up to that. So there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
that you always look up to that. And
So you had a teacher inspire you as well. So your mother was a teacher.
yeah.
So you looked up to your mother and you admired your mother's profession and you played teacher when you were younger. You used to dress up like a teacher. And then you also had, I guess, because the proximity, exposure to a lot of other teachers. And I'm sure just going through your own schooling, you met other teachers that then inspired you to want to teach. And I think, it's funny. I think that there's, as you said that, I'm trying to think, was there anybody in my life that was that. And I think certainly there are. And especially as I've gotten older, I think that teaching would be fun. Like there's a part of me that would like to teach, um, especially younger grades, but all grades. I mean, the high school is kind of challenging. Those guys are. I have a teenager. He's awesome, but he's a teenager. And but I think, yeah. So I think there's people that have absolutely. As I got older, I think, oh, I think teaching would be a lot of fun, rewarding. Probably not fun. I think they'd probably be very challenging sometimes, but super rewarding.
So have you heard about the recent 6-7? I'm not sure if you heard about this.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a very funny story about 6-7. Okay. So the other day, just last week, I went to a school in just about an hour away from me, and I was there to talk to them about drones and all this great stuff. And it was one of these kind of field excursions that I'll do from time to time. And in my slide deck, this just goes to show you how kind of oblivious I was. I talk about drones, and I am an FAA Part 107. I have my operator's license. Well, I'm going to also tell people how tall I am, which is not very. And so on my license, my height is 67 inches. And it's right there on the picture of my license on the slide. And I didn't realize it. And so
Okay.
all the kids are laughing. They're like, oh, and I'm like, what is so funny? What? Because I'm 5'7"? You guys are really mean to me right now. They're like, 6'7", 6'7". Like, where are you seeing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my 67 inches. And so it was, yeah, I'm now very familiar with it because it was just just the
That's
other
what I'm
day.
saying. Irrespective of where you teach, I think that's such a beautiful thing. We're all connected by this. Whenever you go to the classroom, 6-7 is something which is happening. So 6-7. Earlier it was 7-8-9, then 69. You were scared to say that. Now we are scared to say 67. So the children start doing this, and you're like, what's
It's
happening? It's
hysterical.
an
It's
NBA's height,
hysterical.
NBA player's height, and they just mimic that.
It's
So
so funny.
anything going viral. So I think these are the little moments of joy that brings us real happiness. I think happiness is something which is lying in the little moments of your life. So whenever I'm having a bad day, I go to a classroom, I come back cheered up. Or maybe sometimes I am, all happy and my students are not. So I just ooze
Mm,
out that happiness. So just like
yes.
kindness, happiness, and laughter is something which is contagious. You can just spread that, and that's a
It
wonderful
sure
thing.
is. And, again, having spoken with so many people on this podcast, I don't remember who it was that said it. And if they hear this, I apologize. But they did say the wonderful thing about being a teacher is teaching is it's a responsibility. And, sometimes you just said it, and that some child may be having a rough day. And you may be the light in that child's life. They might have a rough life.
True.
And the teacher may be the one beam of light that they look forward to seeing every day. So, you never put that away. You could be having a bad day, but you got to remember as a teacher that there are kids that are looking to you. It's a leadership role, right? Never let them see you sweat. There's that old expression, never let them see you sweat, right? Like you could be, what's the expression of the duck on the water? From the surface, the duck looks very cool and smooth, but under the water, the feet are, right? And we don't see that, right? All you see is this graceful swimming. But
You
on
don't
the,
show it. As an elder, it's
yeah,
your responsibility. They don't get to see the other side of you. A
yeah,
child
that's right.
always asks me, like, ma'am, how are you always so happy? I said, because of you all. So it is
Yeah.
something which you have to give them the happiness, because I think that's something which we are building them. A happy life is a successful life. So
It
I
is.
hope
I agree. And so you've been teaching for 5 years now and enjoying it. I'm
you.
assuming you enjoy it. What do you find most rewarding about it? I mean, I think I've heard it here, but let's just hear you say it. I mean, what's the most rewarding part of teaching for
Tell
you?
you about a recent thing that happened. I was walking on the road. Suddenly, a boy came and he touched my feet. In India, we have this culture of touching elders' feet out of respect. So he just came and touched my feet, and I was like, "Who is this child?" And then just stood up, and he's like, a past ex-student. Okay, so he was an ex-student. He just came and he said, "Ma'am, remember I used to be punished outside the library?" I said, "Yes, I used to have my corridor duties that time." So he said, "Ma'am, do you still have?" I said, "I don't have it corridor duties right now, but I used to have at your time." He said, "Ma'am, remember I used to be." I said, "You were punished daily." And the most miraculous thing is he grew up to become not only prefect, but he also became the discipline in charge in class 11 and 12.
Wow. No
And
way.
now he's into sports and so disciplined. Like, there's a beautiful transformation. It is watching caterpillars turn into butterflies. I
Isn't
had
it great?
few students who could not speak in the class. They were too good toppers, but as I said, introverted students. They never used to raise their hands. They had their answers correct. They used to prompt the answers to their friends and give the answers, but never saying themselves. Now, today I see them, like, now when they are in class 12 or pass out, they are on stage winning prizes, debating,
Great.
and they come and say, "Ma'am, that's a put up show." I put a show because that's a like an introvert. I'm still an introvert, but on the stage I'm a I said, but that gives me a proud feeling because you're able to do that. Because as an introvert, I know how challenging it is, even if you put
Mm,
up a mask and portray yourself as a different personality. So I give you all the credit, and I am really, really proud of these I said metamorphosis which is happening. And it is
it's
something
amazing.
which is very rewarding, because when you see live examples, it also gives you that motivation to do more and more, because there has been so much of transformation. The beautiful butterflies that are forming.
Do you like for so you're I guess you're a self-proclaimed introvert. So thank you for coming on and speaking because I know it's not always easy. Uh Let me ask you this. So when you talk about these students that were introverts themselves, and do you talk to them about stepping into that? And are you the one that's like kind of inspiring them to move forward into fear? I mean, it's hard. I'm fortunate that it's not something I've ever done the opposite. I'm like, everybody, please pay attention to me. And I had that has its own challenges when I was young, right? So it's the opposite side of the same coin, I think. But I think that what is your teaching style? Are you about like pushing through discomfort? And it sounds like you are. Metamorphosis change is uncomfortable and but super rewarding. I think if students could understand that on the other side of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, I think is very important because that's where growth happens.
Exactly, because you have to step out, and I tell you honestly, sir, when you step out, there will be challenges, but when you overcome those challenges, you find it the most meaningful success there, because you are proud of yourself, because the thing you cannot do when you do that, that's your limits. I think we always have to push through our limits. That's our
Yeah.
threshold. We cannot have restricted to our threshold, otherwise we cannot grow. I tell my students as a live example. I always, at the back of whenever I go to the class, I tell them I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert. So there drills in them that if ma'am can do it, if the teacher
Mm,
can do it, I can also do it. So it's always a one step push forward. If as an introvert, if you tell me if you cancel a plan, I would be more happy than be sad. I think you had initially cancelled, and Okay. But I said, no, this is not something what I want. I have to push through my limits. I have to expose myself. I have to, because at the end of the day, it's all about sharing ideas. A sign of intellectual integrity is caring more about sharing of ideas than being right or being liked. I don't
Hmm.
care how many likes I get. I don't care if I'm right. People like me or not. That's a secondary
Hmm.
thing. But I think getting a respect for what you are and what you are doing, and
Yeah.
being a role model for others to follow the same is something which will also inspire. So you have to keep showing for the ones who are like you. So
Hmm.
somebody has to step up, because seeing extrovert always doesn't motivate introverts. So when the introverts step out and you also say yourself that I'm an introvert, I'm still pushing through. It's not easy. Teaching as
Hmm.
an introvert is a whole different scenario. That when you are doing that, it inspires children. So I think
Hmm.
every day is a learning challenge. Every day, as I said, for me, it's a Tom Cruise experience where I'm just sailing through, and I
It's
don't
the
know what's
Mission
going to happen.
Impossible. We're going to
Yeah,
title this is going to be the Mission Impossible episode, right? And
yeah,
we're
Mission
gonna put you in.
Impossible.
So we'll need a
But I
picture of
mean,
you
the
in like
Mission
you're all black.
Impossible always trying to make it possible. So
That's
it's like,
right. Well, the Mission Impossible always making it possible, doing the impossible, just like Tom Cruise does, like jumping off airplanes and stuff,
and
right?
he's my inspiration. I'm a die-hard fan of him because he is. I have a huge respect for the. If you have seen his his biography, you would know his background as well. So
Yeah,
I'm a huge
yeah,
fan of him. The way he is
big
pushing through
fan.
his limits. So I think when he can
That's
do
right.
it, we can do it.
I love that stuff. I mean, you'll that's I eat that stuff for
With
breakfast, lunch,
great
and
power
dinner. It's my
comes great
favorite.
responsibility. I just love
It's
to gather these thoughts as well.
I love it. I absolutely love good push through stories and success stories. I just think they're so inspiring, and I read a lot of that kind of stuff. I just like it a lot. So when you get into so school in India, very different than here in the U.S. We have our own challenges here. What are some of the challenges that teachers face in India, where you are, that maybe we can learn from here in the US? So I'm thinking about the people that are, I always try to think about who's listening to us. Hopefully there are people listening. And it's usually, and we hope that it's teachers, right? So other teachers, peer to peer, that's what we're trying to do here. So what are the challenges that you face and that your peers there face? And how do you think that might relate to what others face here in the States? Kind of a loaded question.
There is pros and cons in every place, I believe. There it's more exposure. Here you have a lot of parental control. I feel there is more parental control, which has its both pros and cons.
Mm,
Parental control is good, like in some, for the teenagers, it's good, like a parental monitor is there. But there's too much parental intervention is also,
mm,
hampering. You can't explore or go beyond your limits, and you don't have that much freedom to explore more and more. And I think one drawback is we cannot wear jeans, which uh,
Ah, you can't wear no jeans. Well, look,
no,
you
but we
know,
make sure that we wear it on Children's Day, because that's the day we get to expose. We dress up as boys or girls and children. So we try to show children that this is our real image. So don't get, don't have some
yeah,
fake image of, because I think children are aware that nowadays teachers do wear jeans and everything.
yeah. Well, there's also that profession. There's the other side of that that says stay professional and look polished and look the part, look sharp. Some people push it far, right? I remember when, gosh, casual Fridays were a thing of business here, and people started pushing that, you know, coming in like with like questionable wear. You're like, oh, you're really going to wear that? So you have to be careful because some people
Yeah,
take it
it's
too
true.
far. Uh so challenge parental. Well, I think we suffer from. I think it's both. Here we have there's a one cohort that's kind of checked out. They're not involved at all. And then to your point, there's another cohort that's way too involved and micromanaging and not letting the teachers kind of do their thing. So in other words, if a child has disciplinary issues, some parents will swoop in and say, "Not my kid." Oh no! And then so the teachers are kind of their hands are tied because they can't discipline the child, and that child might be disruptive to the rest of the class, and it's taking away the energy from the other kids. So I think that's pretty universal. I think both parts, but you may have more parental that you may have more of that side of it than the non-involvement. I think where you
But the
are.
good side is, like, our children, they are much more innocent. I feel there's more cultural. I feel there's more culture and traditions in them. They grow up with more
Mm-hmm.
culture, tradition, and they're not so. loud. I feel they are not so exposed. I feel they're very innocent. For example, class 10 students, 11, they also still want to watch Tom and Jerry and Mr. Bean, have a light-hearted
Tom and
conversation.
Jerry. Woo, yeah,
So
that's a good
they
one.
just
That's
want
an
to.
old
So
one.
I think they are more innocent, and I like, and they have a lot huge respect for teachers. So at least in teaching, as it is, the administration part or maybe the parental part is a barrier, or it's something which our hands are tied. But there's at least a good side to it, that the students are very respectful and they love
Yeah,
you a lot from your bottom of your heart. I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
vouch for other countries of that, but here the students really, really respect, and they have that real respect. I remember one student came to me and he told me he had actually he met with an accident long time ago, so his teeth were broken. So he told me, ma'am,
Mm.
my parents want me to have those artificial teeth. So I said, yes, go for it. What's the problem? He said, no, I like simplicity and I like things which are just like that. I want people and my friends to love me for who I am, with
Huh,
or without teeth. So
without teeth.
that coming from a class 6 student really meant a lot, because he was giving me something which is, it was like my TED talk. It was a TED talk to me, that you embrace your uniqueness, you embrace whatever you have. So there are so many incidents when the child is teaching you a lot more than you could have taught the child. So a lot of
Agree.
positivity coming in, and a lot of things indirectly, they come and teach you something. For example, if I tell them that the exam has been shifted from first period to last period, they get excited, they celebrate. If I tell them the exam is preponed from the second period to the first period, they're excited, they celebrate. If I tell them the exam is cancelled, they celebrate. If I tell them I find that these kids are so happy without reason, and I think that's something which I'm trying to imbibe and learn.
Good.
That's
Okay. Yeah.
something which you have to be present, because if you are intense, you are living in the future tense. So you have to be present and you have to enjoy the present moment. And just
Love it.
presence is just the beauty of presence is just enjoying it, because it will fly in a moment. So these will become memories, and then you will look
It's
back and
true.
you will think I could have enjoyed. And life goes on and on, so you just have to enjoy every moment. I find teachers, our profession is the most heated up profession. It's on fire. It's always on fire. Like I said, Tom Cruise experience. But
Mm.
I find, teachers are all burnt out. But I tell them, do not get burnt out. There are 3 R's which you can follow, which is rhythm. That means concentrate for the time being. Rest for the rest remaining time. You take in between breaks, and after that, reset. 8 hours of sleep and get back to the cycle. So it's so much important how you decide, or what you decide is how your life will be. So you have to decide and take charge of your life. So you have to be responsible and disciplined in some way on planning how to, because you have to show up happy. Now, how you do it is your responsibility, with great
Yeah.
power, great responsibility. And once you make somebody happy, you feel that happiness, the genuine happiness. And this happiness cycle has to continue, because that is the beauty of the profession and the beauty of making memories. Because 10 years down the line, when the child comes, he remembers that, man, you remember I was punished, or those funny moments, or those moments which we do not even think that this might matter. Teachers are just busy correcting papers, doing the finishing their deadlines, but that's not the hardcore of teaching. The hardcore of teaching is making memories, because these are the children, these are our children. We have to make memories with them.
What that's yes. So I agree with you. In the moment, so you said a few things there. I think rhythm, rest. What was it? The three
Reset,
R's: rhythm,
reset,
rest,
rest, reset. So get
and
back to the
reset.
cycle.
Rhythm, rest, reset. I like that. So the three R's are rhythm, rest, reset. And it reminds me of, if you're not in a good mental state, physical state, how can you
Make
be the
others
best
happy.
teacher? It's like when you're about to fly and they always give you the, put your seatbelt on. What's the one thing they say with the mask? Put yours on first,
First, and
and
then the
then,
other.
because you can't help anybody if you can't breathe.
You have
And
to
so,
embody what you want the children to follow. You have to be
yeah,
the leader, the role model. We say a lot of
yeah,
role model, and then at the back end, what are we doing? So you have to take charge of that. You have to be a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
responsible person.
I like the three R's. Well, I'm going to live by the three R's. This is good, because I think even outside of teaching, everybody can benefit from getting into a rhythm. I think that's called discipline and routine.
It's called
Um,
the contagious energy. You get into that energy, that happy zone. You complete the task where you're not distracted. Then you take in between rest, or maybe your chocolate snacks or something, which is the
ooh,
rest period.
chocolate snack.
Yeah, you just. cheer up, and then that's like a dopamine boost, and then you again go back, reset the cycle to sleep. Because if you're not happy, you cannot. Like I always say, if you're intense, you're living in the future tense. You have to be the present. It's a gift of the present. So just happiness, happiness, and happiness. Open that
So
gift of
sleep's
happiness.
important. Are you telling me sleep's important?
Yeah, it is. I agree. Sometimes we do delay and push that, but so you would see it for yourself. The days you actually sleep well, you're able to deliver the best.
For
So sleep
sure.
is very important. So it's
It
important.
is.
And the day you are happy, and it's not about any circumstances. There are people who say, when I get rich or when I do this, I get happy. I always tell my school kids also that you must have seen where uh, a person in the bike is looking at the person in the car and thinking that if I had the car, I would have been lucky. The person in the car is looking at the aeroplane and thinking that if I had the aeroplane, I would have been the lucky. The person who's in the scooter is again seen by the person in the bicycle, and he says, if I had a scooter or something
Yeah.
like that, I would have been happy. And the person who's handicapped is looking at the person who's walking and said, if only I had legs. So
What did
it
I
is
hear the other
something
day?
which is
Always.
fantastic. You can never be happy. The circumstances are never going to change. Money can go here and there, but your present, you determine, your mindset determines whether you want to be happy or not.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
LOC, locus of control, when you control your LOC, that will also follow. You cannot control what your children do. You cannot control what your spouses do, your siblings do. What you can control is you. And once you are in a good state, everything else flows. They're also happy to see you happy.
I agree with that. Oh my gosh, I so agree with that. I mean, that's how you. I try to live by that every single day because some days are better than others, right? And you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond to it. And so, living in the
Gratitude is the
moment,
best
right?
grow
Appreciate.
attitude,
What was
because
the
of gratitude.
expression? I was upset that I didn't have any shoes until I met the person that didn't have any feet. And so, same thing. Yeah, I love that. That's great. Um, we're moving to the future, right? So you've been teaching 5 years. You're, kind of to some teachers I've been talking to talk for 30, and they've been around a while. And, you are kind of newer into the profession, probably on the younger end of it. So you're in this world of technology and the new norm. What are you? It's easy to get, at least here. I know that there's this feeling of too much social media, too much news cycles, too much external, and everybody feels very disenfranchised, and it's easy to get down, and it's very easy to get feeling like the world's crumbling around us, and I don't believe that that's the case. I think things pulse and ebb and flow. What are you excited about? I always like to kind of wrap up with this idea of optimism, or at least excitement about what do you see happening that gives you hope, and you go, this is what I'm really excited
I
about.
think it's a very funny or bizarre thing. What gives me happiness is recently I was just chatting with a robot, that AI platforms where we have, and I was asking a very simple question, and the AI said, "I don't know." Then I said, "Do you believe?" Then AI, "Do you believe that HI is superior to AI?" And it replied, "I don't know." So I think the thing is, what gives me hope is human. Wherever there's human, there is hope. Because
Mhm.
whenever you're chatting with a random, AI robot, they always don't know. So the thing is, imagine if I'm in a profession and somebody comes and tell me, what do I do? I say, I don't know. I am just screwed. So
Yeah.
I have to have, if plan A doesn't work, there are 26 other alphabets. I have to be ready with the others. I am something, it comes with, you have to be in the presence of mind has to be there. Like in our profession, we always have that the plan A is going to fail. Like we go with the mindset plan A, and 99.9% plan A fails. So it's like with
Mm.
that mindset, I cannot go with something which I do not know. So with AI, I always find, they are trying to some way give, they say they're very smarter, but somewhere they lack that human intelligence. So I think human intelligence, HI, is what gives me hope. Where there's human, there's hope. So I think that's something which is important, because as a human, I always feel when there's empathy, kindness, and the concern to help others, you will find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Mm.
So that's something which is
Human
important.
intelligence gives you hope. I like it. So in a sea of technology, humans still reign supreme in the sense of being able to have empathy, compassion, curiosity, uh, the ability to think through answers. So human intelligence, I like that, as opposed to artificial
Imagine
intelligence.
if I was speaking, or you were speaking to an AI and something crashed in between. There would not have been any, there's nothing. you can think or do about it. So I think interacting, it's a just like whenever I get a call with a where there's an AI bot, so they call and they are just saying, for this press one, for this press two. There's no proper communication. There's no heart to
Hmm.
heart talk. There's no, going and laughing and going off the track with your friends. You sometimes go off the track, because I feel you have to go off the track to come back to the track. That is how I engage. Like I enjoy a lot of memes. Like sometimes people are always crying and worrying about work. I said, what's the point? 99.9% the plan is going to fail. So as it is, I'm a Tom Cruise flying plane and I'm always okay with it. So you have to be okay with it, with the plane flying. The problem with the teaching is we are flying the plane while building it.
That's
So
correct. Yes.
let's
Yeah.
and the
Always.
children,
It's
and
never
it's
finished.
always, and the children also, if you see the children, they do not have their brain developed like an adult. Even they will not be having that maturity to understand what you're saying. So the thing is, every child is different, the resources are limited, the plane is crashing, there is hardly any engine, but you have to fly. So you have better smile and fly, because 99.9% plan A fails. So I'm somebody who enjoys and takes humor as a resilience. That's my resilient power. Humor in
Okay.
the classroom or outside the classroom. Otherwise, you cannot survive. It's a total burnout. Too much
Yeah.
correction, too much. So something I need that, the madness, craziness of going off the track means. People might say that, what is this? You are in this profession. I said, let it be. Let the children also know that I'm human. I can also
Mm.
enjoy and crack a lame joke, because that helps me get back into business, right? And
Yeah.
people connect better. When
Do
they
you
see
tell
you as somebody as who is more genuine, somebody who is able to relate and laugh to a meme, they connect better. Humor is the
do
best.
you tell your students lame jokes?
I do, I
Do
do.
you? Do you have a good one for us? Can you tell us a lame joke for your students? What's a good one that the kids love? Do you have one that the kids just thought was super funny? Because it's got to be appropriate, right? So it can't be like off the too off color, but it's got to be funny, right? So do you have one that the kids love or not?
It's related to the topics as such, not
Yeah,
as
okay. So you just
yeah.
make a silly comment about
I
something,
just make
right?
a yeah, silly
There's
comment
no
about
like canned
something. I just
jokes.
no dad jokes or something, not that silly jokes that I'll be kicked out. It's something like out of the blue, where related to the topic when I'm teaching something. For example, feces. Feces are, they are waste products. So when I'm teaching feces in biology, I tell them that do not write spelling mistake and make it faces. Faces are beautiful, feces are not. So it's a lame jokes that helps them.
Yeah,
It also helps the clarify their spelling mistakes, so they're not making those silly mistakes, and also help them to laugh and get back to the track. So I tell them,
yeah.
once upon a time a student wrote like this. There was no once upon a time a student wrote like that. I don't want them to make that mistake. So I just make a story that once
You just
upon a
make it
time.
up. Yeah, you just make it up. That's good. I
Just
like
make
it.
up
Make
the
little
story.
stories. Well, we
So
learn
that
through stories.
in that way, I tell them that if you do not study well, you get an oxygen symbol, which is actually O. Okay, so in
Okay.
that way, they will never make mistake. So there's
Yeah.
something like our school email ID starts with an SB. Okay, and antimony, that is, for example, the symbol is SB. So I tell them, your school email ID and your antimony in chemistry is related. So some way I bring the link. It's not related globally, but I make up my own creation, make them
Hmm.
laugh, and also make them write the correct thing. So I make up stories like once upon a time a boy wrote like this, you do not write this like that. So they have a good laugh, and that way they don't make mistakes. So
There
my
you
work
go.
is done. So my work is
Ah,
done.
very good. Oh, I love it. Well, that's great. Oh, I have a good joke you could tell them. A clean, silly, dumb joke. So, okay, ready? Why was six mad at seven?
Why?
Because seven, eight, nine.
8, 9.
There you go. That's a little silly one you can tell them. So, well, this has been fun. I'm looking at the clock. Anything else that you want to take us out with? Words of inspiration. Listen, I think you've been great. I love your mindset. I love your attitude. Your personality is just, you've got a lot of energy going on here. I really love it. Your kids must love you. You're on LinkedIn. We can connect with you on LinkedIn.
I think one last word I would like to say is, just like Bruce Lee said, be like water. You
Yeah.
pour you pour the water in the pot, it becomes a pot. You pour the water in the bottle, it becomes a bottle. So just be like water, be calm, be patient. It's very difficult, to execute calmness when the plane is, there's fire on the plane. But as a Tom Cruise, you have to have that smile and believe that every challenge is helping you step forward and making you a better person. It's helping you also grow. Remember that we are not only for the growth of the children, every batch of children we are teaching, we know what is the backup plan. We learn. That's how we do.
Yeah.
Like as a teacher, we grow. Now I feel so much confident compared to what when I started, and I still do not feel confident to what I will be in the 10 to 15 years. I always have a backup plan. So these are the things I feel, always be open to growth and always be open to grow challenges, because challenges are what makes life interesting and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. So it is so much important that you try to push your limit and do not stop at your threshold. Like I said, it's very
Yeah.
difficult as an introvert to come up to push forward, but COVID has made me, it was not possible for me to, one-on-one, even to talk one-on-one, but because of the COVID, Google Classroom, it has become much more accessible and possible. So I think it's something which I'm trying to push my limits and learning from all of you, because you are a real hero or the legend, making a
Oh,
legend.
thank
It's
you.
always
Thank
nice
you.
the way you're doing the hand holding. I just saw the other day video also. The way you're hand holding the kids, and you're giving that hope to the child. Like I said, what gives other children hope, because children are children, they do not know, they always need one hero to look up to. When we
Hmm.
were children, we also needed one hero to look up
Oh
to.
yeah.
So you are like that hero to them, and you are giving them the wings to fly. So as a teacher, I think everyone has to give that wing and the belief to fly. Let it be a flying crashing plane, whatever it is, but at least tell them to not get scared and get off the plane. Get on the plane, even if it is catching on fire. You will learn how to fly. Maybe you will learn how to fly. So
So we're
it's all
jumping on burning
and
planes and
be
we're
like
going to learn
Tom
how to fly them. I love it.
at this age. Also, he's doing fantastic job.
Well, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to get everybody on your LinkedIn. We'll have them follow you on LinkedIn. Certainly, I am grateful that you follow me and that you find so much value in what we're doing here at Drone Legends. Thank you so much. This has been great. That is it. Thank you so much for the pod. And we're going to have you coming on in about 2 weeks, and we'll get everybody LinkedIn and following you. And thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Bye bye.
all.
Oh, it's great.
Center
Bye.
stage.